Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. All right. All right. All right. All right. Pull up. Pull up. Level, 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 level. Is this the new desktop? Is this the new desktop setting? Level, level. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Oi. Ball out. Jamaica. We need a ball out. Ball out. Whoa. Yo, 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 yo. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove the cockroach. Remove the cockroach. Out of parliament. Take them out. Near Portland. Me I travel to Portland. Near Portland. Take out somebody. Take them out. Reverse. Reverse the order. Take them out. Ball out. Yo, we're Andre. Shout out Andre Stevens. Andre. Okay. 2 hours before game time, before game 5. Thank God we have a late game time this afternoon. If I'm playing around with this, really it's just for my shoulder because I have been kind of lacking on my PT, so I might hit a couple of these during the live stream just cause I'm saying just cause he must occupy. I'm saying because I have been missing my stretches. I'm saying I'm saying it's a good stretch anyway. You should do this whether you have a dislocated shoulder or not. Anyway, we already in the chat heavy. we already in the chat heavy. Top chat heavy. Hold on. Feed through the whole bus on Kathy. At Kathy. No, we're all done. I get what you're saying, bro. Okay, here's the thing. Here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. Classy ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the stream. We're diving right in because we only got about 2 hours for game time. Now, I did say that I'm going to try and keep the freaking live streams to like a 30-minute minimum, 35-minute maximum. Sorry, 35-minute maximum. But I'm also aware that this might require a 35 plus minute live stream because I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have done this before game time because I feel like I might rush. But it's 2 hours. Let me just try to settle myself. Let me just try to settle down. Let me just try to relax. Cuz I'm going to pull up fees. I think we're going to listen to it. I think we're going to listen to it actually. Let me go to Twitter. I think we're going to listen to Fee's 4-minute page read off, her 4-minute exit interview excerpt that has been going viral. And we got to break this down from the beginning. So I'm going to scroll back on my Twitter feed because, I try to like the things that we're going to talk about in the live stream and kind of use it to guide the live stream tonight because isn't it funny? Ain't it something? Ain't it fun? Ain't it funny that more and more as these days go on, you start to hear. I don't know why that just popped in my head, but the freaking y'all remember when Keegan Michael Key was doing the damn mock interview with The Rock what did he say his name was? Eugene, what was his name? Eugene Summers or something like that. I don't know why that just popped into my head. Hold on. All right, for the Liberty page is still talking about Sandy Brondello, bro. It's done. Relax. It's over with. Stop. You no longer are concerned. Should be worried about who the hell we gonna pick up next or what you want to see from the next coach. Why are we still talking about, you know? Excuse me. Let me scroll back. What? Hold on. My fault, peoples. Situation. Technical difficulties, not even. Difficulties, my fault. Let me get back to it. My fault for that. I should have just paused the live stream. All right, let's get this thing cracking. Let's get it cracking. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl. That's funny enough. Anyway, let me stay on topic. I was mentioning how it's kind of funny that I'm kind of out of breath, but it's kind of funny that they're not necessarily echoing what we've been saying on this channel, what I've been saying on this channel for a minute now, but it's so funny that it's getting to the point that everything's coming back to what I've said on this channel before. And if I'm looking at the discourse, I see that, most people are starting to look at or I'm not the only one alone in this thought. My problem is I'm just not sure how many people had this same mentality or had this same type of thinking before any of this kicked off. So you'd see it here and there, but it wasn't such a populated stream or populated similar thinking community before Fee popped off. All right. Now, there are a lot of implications to all of this. And I actually even rewatched my own streams, my older streams to see what I said about this. And for some reason, I'm also on Simpsons timing because some of the stuff we've said on this channel before has come to pass. A lot of what we said on this channel has come to pass. A lot of the things I told you all to look out for in the W, how to read in between the lines, how to read the business, the real culprits, the puppeteers of this business, of the organization, of the players, of player development. Those same things I've been telling you all, or I've been trying to get people to become a little bit more privy to, are some of the things that are playing out in front of us right now. Obviously, the officiating's in the air. We're going to tackle. I'm going to try and tackle all of these things, and hopefully not even in a short amount of time. I want to do it within an hour. Let me just find. Let me find it. All right, here it is. So here's this thing has 3.4 million hits on Twitter right now, 10,000 reposts, 35,000 likes. This was posted by Malika Andrews. I will probably set it to play later on. We'll probably listen to it together, and then I'll tell you what I think about what she said. I don't know if we should do that first, but what Fee did touch on was basically the officiating, the accountability of the league, the commissioner herself, and what some of the things she's been saying at Unrivaled. But I want to backtrack before we get into all of those quotes and details and mess on Twitter. I want to backtrack real quick. And I want to ask y'all, chat, do y'all remember when I told you all that the WNBA is a ghost organization? And why do I say that? Not because a lot of the people within the W are ghosts, are part of this ghost organization that we know nothing of. No, I said it's a ghost organization because the NBA keeps it that way. The NBA puppets the WNBA. And I explained previously that the NBA, they had a choice with the W. They've had multiple chances with the W to be all in for the W, and they decided not to do that. Y'all remember that? Oh my goodness, I forgot to pull up the link. It's on my phone. I forgot to pull up this link for y'all for the media deal. But either way, I don't think I need it anyway. I've read these damn articles so many times. But I'll get to that later. But I told y'all that the NBA has governance, still has say so, still has decision making power, still negotiates the WNBA's deals. We've said this on this channel before. And I also told y'all that that the Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, is nothing more than an NBA puppet. I've given her props to things that I believe were solid things to do, but in a way, because I try to be fair. So when I was given props, I also was still aware of the fact that some of this is Sandy Brondello timing. You know, some of these things you're just changing marginally, but that's what everyone has been asking for anyway. But that's also something that's not necessarily hard for you. It's probably not even your idea. It's just that something, throw out a bone to the people while you're still not giving them what they truly want. You feel me? So she kind of was on Sandy Brondello timing with some of these changes, making the finals best of seven, the fever rule, right? The fever rule with Caitlin Clark giving the Indiana Fever a home game. Some of these things was just her not on her merit. But I also did reiterate to y'all that she's nothing more than an NBA puppet. A lot of these people in these higher up positions, they're not necessarily there to serve the actual entity that they're in, or that they're in lead of, that they're in charge of. A lot of the time they're there to serve another entity's purpose, and sometimes even their own. You don't find it funny, and most people, to the people that have shared some of these same thoughts and some of these same sentiments, I know most of y'all are probably aware of or privy to, when you when you log on to the WNBA app, you see that the app is powered by who? I still don't even know how you pronounce their name, but Deloitte, powered by Deloitte, which is the same company that Kathy Engelbert was, I believe, the CEO of for some time before she stepped down, before she retired. And I always find stuff like that very funny, especially in the WNBA or in women's basketball. I find this stuff so funny how I understand, yes, they're at the helm of a big company, sometimes Fortune 500 companies, and then they just get a job in a completely different arena. They get a job at being the helm of a sports league. And I just found out, is this like stupid nepotism? Because I can understand you going after someone who has experience leading a big company, but sometimes these are two different genres. You're leading this tech company while this is a sports league, sports organization. And if you're just putting in a leader that's just there because it's a job, this is the result you're going to get. Or for the past couple of years, these are the results you're going to get. You're not going to get much change, and you're not going to get much player camaraderie or the best player to front office, league front office chemistry. And people have been calling out Kathy Engelbert for a while now. So, one, even though this is a crazy blockbuster type moment in the WNBA, this isn't anything new. This is not the first time Kathy Engelbert has been called out, but it's probably the first time Kathy Engelbert has been so directly called out. Y'all remember when the W gave Kelsey Plum a Party City trophy for the All-Star MVP? Y'all remember that? That was Kathy Engelbert. She was still in charge then. What was that? 2023, All-Star 2023. This isn't the first time she's been called out. It's just the most direct. When she said, yo, what are you going to do when people ask it? Or when she was in an interview, what are you going to do about all these fans making these racial remarks and trying to play these racial cards? And she said, look at the views. Again, to me, this is just what happens when you take some of these same high company leaders, big company leaders, and just put them in a different position. But the thing is, we know why she's there. If you're on this channel, you're one of my viewers, we know why she's there. We know why she's there. She's there because she's serving a different purpose to a different entity. She's not serving the WNBA. And I've asked you all this multiple times before too. I said, does this look like a commissioner that really cares about the WNBA? Understand, a lot of these people in these higher up positions, they already have ties to certain things. So they're already feeding the purpose of things that of entities or organizations that we might not be aware of. No different than politicians. Whoever pays their pockets, that's the agenda they're going to push, right? But I asked y'all, do y'all think this is how of all the problems in the WNBA, of all the things to fix, does this look like a commissioner or a leader that actually cares about changing the W for the better? Because there's no way a commissioner moves like this when you're trying to change the W for the better. You would think people would come in and be like, okay, I want the best refs. I want jersey sales, merchandise to be available everywhere. I want every game on this league pass. Like people listening to the fans or just their own ideas. Like I want every game. If we say fans are going to buy the league pass, we should have our own studio for league pass, whatever, so that fans can watch the games, can watch the highlights at any time they want. Live streaming every game, whether it's playoffs or, well, maybe not playoffs because that'll be nationally televised. So maybe you do every game in the season on league pass. No such thing as a blackout unless for the regional games. The charter travel. Oh, the same thing she got bullied into doing. The same thing the commissioner was forced to do. Like I said, it's almost Sandy Brondello timing with her. Why'd they have charter travel? Yeah, they've been working on it for years, but I asked y'all and I told y'all again, y'all don't think it's a coincidence that now you have these players that are fully supported and sponsored by big name companies. They got portfolios to protect. It's amazing now how in the year 2024, we said this last year, that all of a sudden they get charter travel just like that. All these years of, W isn't in a place to afford it. We can't do this, yada, yada. But in comes this class. In comes this portfolio heavy class. And all of a sudden, boom, we can afford it just like that. Commissioner Engelbert has, to me, has never been anything more than an NBA puppet, and I think people are starting to see that now. And some players, specifically Napheesa Collier, has just had enough and called it out. Now, Does she call out that? I believe she was asked. Was she going to do this if the Lynx won, if the Lynx were moving on to the next round or whatever? And I believe her response was yes, she would have done that, but the timing would have been differently, since they would have been trying to focus on the finals. I'll take Fee's word for it, but however, I feel like the loss, the injury, everything else helped to spur that moment. It probably just gave her like an extra let's get negative, fuel. Fueled the negativity to why she wanted to do this. You feel me? Paper, printed out, typed all up. Final draft, I'm ready to present in class. I feel like it was fueled by, recent events. So I can understand that. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that. As long as I feel like you were going to do that if you want to, cool, I'll leave it alone. All right. But let's go ahead and listen. Let's go ahead and listen to what Napheesa Collier said. And this is the 4-minute clip I want to listen to.
So first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Mercury for advancing to the finals. And I want to be clear, this conversation is not about winning or losing. It's about something much bigger. The real threat to our league isn't money, it isn't ratings, or even missed calls, or even physical play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office.
I want to stop it right there. I'm sorry, but I want to stop it right there. Remember when I said we were talking to people about pay, and people kept trying to run with that same narrative or same trope of they have to bring in more revenue if they want more pay, more revenue this, more revenue that. Why are they asking for more pay? Yada yada. Remember when I said doesn't really have anything to do with the players, but it's the incentive, it's the resource that will drive a game that's going to grow. It is the fuel that would pick this game up. If the trajectory is like this, that shit will change to this, and it will just shoot the game all the way up.
Since I've been in the league, you've heard the constant concerns about officiating, and it has now reached levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity in which it operates. Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders. Sorry, I had to walk here in my boot. I'm kind of out of breath. The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability.
I want to stop it right there. We talked about on this channel, we talked about the fact that the NBA doesn't want to pay the players anyway. Lockout is what they want. Lockout is what these entities want. I'll take the WNBA out the picture because they're just, yes, there are good intentions in the WNBA and well-intended people, but if the NBA is pulling the strings, again, if the NBA has the say so, has the governance over the W, it doesn't matter what the well-intended people in the W are doing. Excuse me. But remember where I told y'all, the NBA has this consistent focus on keeping the WNBA as a write-off. So this CBA negotiation, they never wanted it. They never intended or wanted to pay these players more money because they want to keep the W in the red. They want to keep it as a write-off. We've said this. We're still going. Sustainability, as she said, was the buzzword. Again, that's just the NBA faking as if they care about the W, as if they care about growing the W. Because we've seen from the NBA the actions they've taken towards the W. It doesn't spell or doesn't look like a parent company really wants to see their subsidy grow. Keep going.
But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence.
I'm pausing again. I'm sorry I'm pausing it so much, but the officiating, we talked about this before. I just, I always maintained that WNBA refs aren't trained properly. And remember, I also told y'all, it's not so much as the officials being bad or the team saying, "Oh, these refs are so bad," like how we say it in every sport. But what I try to zero in on this channel, and I did a video on it too. What I tried to zero in on is the fact that these refs aren't properly trained. It's not how do I explain this? It's not that the refs are bad because they're just making inconsistent calls. In my eye, in my opinion, in my observation, these refs are just bad in general. So you shouldn't be surprised why they make so many inconsistent calls or are so bad at their job. They're already bad. They're already not trained. That's what I've been trying to say about the officiating. It's not just bad officiating in game. No, they're just bad officials. They're bad referees. They're untrained referees. Or they could have some training, but they are not trained to the point where they should be working WNBA games. Keep going.
At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, "Well, only the losers complain about the refs."
I'll be real. I'll have to. I understand that that's BS coming from your commissioner, even though I agree. You know why? You know why? You know why she probably felt emboldened to say that? Coach Brundello. Yeah, Coach Sandy Brundello. Remember what Coach Sandy Brundello did? Remember when she complained, damn near bawled her eyes out in Game 4 in the finals last season, right? Last year, almost a year ago, right? She bawled her eyes out about Game 4 and the calls in Game 4, and then in Game 5, she was asked about the referees, and then she said, "Oh, I thought they were pretty good tonight." After they won the game, remember that where she joked afterwards? So I'm not saying the timing of that comment from the commissioner was correct, but I am saying I have said on this channel before, in a close game, I don't want to hear about officiating. Why? Because you should already have bad officiating threaded into your game plan. You see what I'm saying? So it's an effed up thing to say from the commissioner, but part of me is kind of like, I don't want to hear about bad officiating anyway. So in a slight way, I agree. But moving on.
I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, "Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything."
Chess move by Fee. Beautiful move. Sicilian defense. Beautiful.
And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
I'm sorry I'm pausing it so much, but that would have made me slap the shit up. Hold on. I gotta tackle this. The media rights deal should be, if the commissioner's telling Fee that the players should be thankful for the media rights deal that she got them. Oh, I'm sorry. The same media rights deal where they only got 3% of that deal? Do you all understand now why I say she's an NBA puppet? You went from 1% of a media deal to 3% of a media deal, and the players should be thanking you. It sounds like somebody was put in that position to hoe.
That's a mentality driving our league from the top. We go to battle every day to protect a shield that doesn't value us. The league believes it succeeds despite its players, not because of them. I have the privilege of watching my husband run a league where he has to balance 100 different things at once. I won't pretend the job is easy, but even with all of that on his plate, he always takes the time to reach out to players when he sees an injury, whether it's Unrivaled or even during the WNBA season. That is what leadership looks like. It's the human element. It's basic integrity, and it's the bare minimum any leader should embody. This year alone, I've gotten calls, texts, and well wishes from so many players across the league. Those moments remind me that sometimes there are things bigger than the results than this game we play. But do you know who I haven't heard from? Kathy. Not one call, not one text. Instead, the only outreach has come from her number two telling my agent that she doesn't believe physical play is contributing to injuries. That is infuriating. And it's the perfect example of the tone-deaf, dismissive approach that our leaders always seem to take.
Pausing it again. I'm of the belief that the physicality isn't contributing to most of the injuries. I believe lack of skill development is contributing to most of the injuries. So I don't know if that's what Fee's saying or if she's just relaying, what the commissioner said, but if she is saying that, I'll disagree with her there because I think it's the lack of skill development. Y'all know how I feel about this. I think it's a lack of skills that are leading to these injuries. It's not even so much the physicality. It's just that one, they don't have a handle on the physicality, but it's a lack of skills. Like players, if they can only dribble one certain way, you're going to increase the risk for and this player's trying to wall you off, or you're trying to go around a pick and roll or whatever, and you can only dribble a certain way. Sooner or later that redundancy is going to put you in a position that's not healthy or not advantageous. So I'll disagree right there, but it is telling all of these. It's crazy. You guys are listening to Fee right now relay some of the same things I've said on this channel where I said, yo, if she's an NBA puppet, why would she be? She doesn't care like that. She's a CEO from a different company. This is a sports league. She's not about. If the commissioner ain't really about the company or the sports league, I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised by because she's not your commissioner. You feel me? She's never been their commissioner. She's been put in place to be the commissioner for something else, for somebody else. She was never their commissioner. She's not fighting for the players like that. And for her to come out and say, "Oh, y'all should be happy with the media rights deal I got." What does that sound like someone that's fighting? No. She's saying exactly what we've said about Kathy Engelbert from time.
I've finally grown tired. For too long, I've tried to have these conversations in private, but it's clear there is no intention of accepting there's a problem. The league has made it clear it isn't about innovation, it isn't about collaboration, it's about control and power. I've earned this platform and I've paid the price to get here, and now I have a responsibility to speak on behalf of the fans and everyone in this league that deserves better. Our leadership's answer to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines. I'm not concerned about a fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport. At some point, everyone deserves to hear the truth from someone who I hope has earned the benefit of the doubt to fight for what is right and fair for our athletes and our fans. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. If I didn't know exactly what the job entailed, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But unfortunately for them, I do. We serve a league that has shown they think championship coaches and Hall of Fame players are dispensable, and that's fine. It's professional sports. But I will not stand quietly by and allow different standards to be applied at the league level. Thank you.
That was a 4-minute clip that basically when that has been going viral, still going viral. I'll be the first to say I haven't watched the full interview yet, but I will. I promise you that I will, just so I can hear everything and not go off of, people's tweets. But this really, that interview really encapsulated everything, bro. That clip right there just encapsulated everything. That's what we've been talking about. And I'm not trying to just, make this about this channel and whatnot, but I really hope you guys see, if you follow my channel, you watch my content, I really hope you all see now why I look at things the way I look at in this league. Why it's important to step back and look at the bigger picture. How to read in between the lines. I'm not surprised he said this. I can understand fees tired of the BS, but we have to understand she's looking at it from a player perspective, from a WNBPA perspective. She's looking at it from someone who runs her own league or helps to run their own league through Unrivaled. She's also looking at it as a player who wants a better CBA in the WNBA because let's be real, if the WNBA was doing what they were supposed to be doing, they wouldn't need an Unrivaled per se. If the WNBA was doing what they were doing, they wouldn't need an Unrivaled. So she's looking at it from a lot of different perspectives. Okay. So hats off to Fee. Full support to Fee. She said what needed to be said. The timing, I don't really care much about the timing, but a lot of people were talking about how these comments or how what Fee said is going to. They said there's not going to be a 2026 WNBA season, is there? There's not going to be a WNBA 20. There's not going to be a 2026 WNBA season. Someone said, "Oh, we're definitely heading to lockout." But understand, people, the powers that be, even though they had no intention of really getting these players a better CBA or a CBA that everyone could agree on, what they are going to do is use Fee's interview as an excuse to have the lockout. That's the only downside. It's not Fee's fault, but that's the only downside I see to this interview. And it makes me question, is this something that, maybe Fee should have waited till after the season for? But after the season ends, it's what, October 16th, October 17th, around there, and the CBA deadline is October 31st. 1 month to figure out a new CBA with the finals still going, with the playoffs still going, and the finals soon to be starting 1 week after. So the final starts October 7th. You're probably not getting a new CBA anyway. And that was their goal. That was the NBA's goal. But I feel like they're going to try and use this rift between these players and the front office as an excuse as to why, oh, we're definitely not on the same page. Guess what? It's your fault. You wanted to call out the commissioner. This is how we're going to punish you now. No new CBA, and don't expect one anytime soon, even though that's exactly what they wanted to do from the beginning. You heard it here first. Now, Kathy Engelbert responded, by the way. Responded same day. I'm like, so to my point of how I told y'all they didn't want to negotiate a new CBA this quickly. They were never trying to meet this deadline. The powers that be that were never trying to meet this deadline. The reason why this is supported, or my theories get supported by their own actions. This is not something that you should be responding to. She responds. Commissioner Engelbert responds the same day to Fee's comments. Oh my Lord, it's cap. It's cap. It's cap. That's great. No. Actually, that's great cap. Shorty ain't never respond to anything this quickly. That's great cap. That's great cap, by the way, bro. Oh, that is, yes, that is great cap. I'm letting y'all know right now. Hold on. Let me type in. See if why are they? I don't know why Tron just looked like they're playing Ultimate Frisbee right there, but Kathy Engelbert responding the same day is levels of cap. I don't know, y'all. I don't think y'all understand. Hold on. Let me find Kathy's statements. This quote said, Kathy Engelbert is a profusely wealthy straight white woman who's worked for companies where she's been responsible for billions. Safe to say she's had a good life, but at the end of the day, it seems she still might be pissy that her own b-ball career was mid at best. Yo, don't leave it. Don't leave it to people to find out. I don't leave it to people to find out to make their own. Yo, this is insane, bro. Don't leave it to people, bro, to draw their own conclusions, bro. I just truthfully, people, I don't believe this is anything other than this is what happens when these CEOs they are self-serving. They're just self-serving. She's self-serving. NBA Centel almost got me. They said Kathy Engelbert has stepped down as WNBA commissioner per league office. Yo, WNBA Centel, even though they on Simpsons timing some of the time, that is nah. Even though they're on Simpsons timing, they almost got me. Anyway, these are WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's statements. Let me check chat real quick, see if anything popping off in chat. What up, Matt? Matt 4000. Fee is smart for mentioning CC recent page. She united three of the biggest fan bases of the WNBA together against Kathy. Absolutely. And it's funny how there was also one comment that was talking about that this wasn't well thought out on Fee's part. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that was very well thought out because she clearly called Caitlyn, Angel, Paige. She clearly called all of them out, and she basically said, "Oh, watch this." She basically told the commissioner, "Oh, watch this, watch this." She basically said, "Watch this." Called out the three biggest fans, and she said, "Go against them, please go against them." But also, I don't think it makes any difference because to say that the Caitlyn needs the W, obviously in a way she's correct because let's say there was no W, man, Caitlyn's overseas, right? So doesn't change the fact that she has all this attention. But to say that Caitlyn ain't shit without the W in for lack of better terms is a wild statement to make as a commissioner. This is why Fee said tone deaf. Oh, you are tone deaf. You are nah, but are we surprised by this? She was asked about racial remarks and these like this racial tension in the league at these games, and she said, "Hey, views are higher than ever." She just, and I'm not saying that she's saying that because she's a bad person, but I'm saying this is basically supporting what Fee said. She unaware. You're unaware. And it goes back to what I said, where I said, yo, she's not your commissioner. She's not for you. She's just another face in a high place. She's not for you. She's serving completely different purposes. This is like when people think politicians are for them. They're not for you. They're serving themselves or they're serving another entity that you're unaware of. She's never been for these players, bruh. Anyway, let me read chat. You all please let me know what y'all think about this situation. Sorry, I'm really thirsty. Please let me know what you think about this situation because that one comment that said, I don't think Fee thought this through. The only thing I think Fee probably didn't think through was how the leagues would weaponize that against the players. You see what I'm saying? Because already you see, check this. Already you see on social media, people are like, oh, now we're definitely not going to have a 2026 WNBA season. So when it actually happens, people are going to be like, oh, no surprise there. When the deadline passes, when the Halloween deadline passes, people are going to be like, oh, no surprise there. Like we saw this coming because of, so in a way, these powers that be get to get to kind of scapegoat Napheesa Collier's statements as to why they're not going to have a new CBA for the players. You see what I'm saying? That's probably the only thing that Fee didn't think about. But at the same time, if I'm thinking from Fee's perspective, I can understand why she's like, I have to do this now. Exit interview. If she waits, when is that? What would be the right time to do that? After the finals, then she looks like a sore loser or something like that. You see what I'm saying? It's weird time to wait. Plus, after the finals, it would be around mid October, late October, in negotiations and Halloween. You're probably not finishing negotiations in 10 days. You see what I'm saying? So in a way, she kind of had to choose this time. You see, Matt 4000. CC popularity to me is more built from college. The average casual knows more about players like Juju and FloJ than most players in the W. There is truth to that, and we cannot forget that. We can't forget why CC blew up out the stratosphere. Shouts out Angel Reese. From here on out, I'll be real. From here on out, if something got a black catalyst, I'm shouting it out. Again, it's not to say that Caitlin Clark wasn't famous. It's not because once again, I was following Caitlin Clark before all these little white girls started wearing her jersey and buying her shirt. I was watching her beat up Michigan, bro. Okay, I've known about Caitlin Clark from time, but here's what I'm going to do. Since everyone thinks everybody needs them and you not shit without me, I guess Kathy Engelbert is now on Jeffrey timing where she talking about, well, God made you, but I helped. God created you, but I helped. She thinks the W created Caitlyn, and then she's like, oh no, college created Caitlyn. No, Angel helped. God created you, but Angel helped. I'll tell that to Caitlyn. Well, Caitlyn already knows that, but you know what I'm saying? Anytime something got a black catalyst that leads to change, I'm calling it out. We're not going to say Twitch without saying Kai Cenat. We're not going to say Caitlin Clark without saying Angel Reese. We're not going to say Eminem without saying Dr. Dre. Anytime there's a black catalyst, bro, I'm calling that shit out from here on out. Y'all hear me. But your point still stands, Matt 4000. Yes, she built that reputation in college. Again, she was still known, but until Angel Reese did this shit, 9 million was the cap of views. You know what I'm saying? Angel Reese did this, and the next year that shit doubled. So again, I'm not discounting the black catalyst from here on out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation. I gotta read Kathy Engelbert's statement here. Cause for some reason the WNBA is releasing same day statements, same day responses. We beefing in the W. We are going back and forth in the W. Front office leadership is going back and forth in the W. That is not your commissioner. Never has been. Raise all the 75 million. Cool. I gave her props for that because, you know what I'm saying, getting people, chip in, that's not easy. Fundraising is not an easy thing. So I'll give you props for that. But I understand what it is. I understand what's up. You not for them. You never been for them. You've been an NBA puppet. I get to say I'm so free. I'm so free. I get to say this now. She been an NBA puppet, bro. But we've already said this. But now, thank you, Fee. Thank you, Fee, for confirming. Thank you, Fee, for confirming. I told y'all. I did tell y'all. Kathy Engelbert's statement, quote, I have the utmost respect for Napheesa Collier and for all the players in the WNBA. Together we have all worked tirelessly to transform this league. My focus remains on ensuring a bright future for the players in the WNBA, including collaborating on how we continue to elevate the game. I am disheartened by how Napheesa characterized our conversations and league leadership, but even when our perspectives differ, my commitment to the players and to this work will not waver. End quote. So, didn't deny anything. That's when I first read that, I was like, I'm disheartened by how Napheesa characterized our conversation. Characterized. I don't think Napheesa did much characterization. I'm pretty sure Napheesa just gave direct quotes. I don't think that's something you have to characterize. If that's if that's what you told if that's what you told Fee, that's what you told Fee. If he asked you that, that's what you said back. And by the way, what reason do I not have to believe Fee? You the same again. You the same one that said, "Yo, how you gonna handle all this racial tension, all these, all this white racial tension and all this white aggression in your league?" And she was like, "Well, if you look at the views, they're the highest they've ever been." Who do you think I'm gonna believe? Disheartened by the character, disheartened by how Napheesa characterized. What is there to characterize? That's what if that's what you said, that's what you said, and you also didn't deny that, by the way. Good job, publicist. Good job, Doug. Why would you come out? Here, you. Congratulations, you played yourself. Why would you come out with a same day response? Huh? What you trying to do? You trying to save face? You try to save face. That's what you try to do. You trying to jump in front of a fire. You try to put it out before it spreads too. What are you coming out with a same day response for? A same day response just for you to not say that you're not denying those statements. So you don't deny them, right? But you want to come out with a same day response even though you're not denying anything. Okay, all right. Yo, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Money, 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 money. Money. Money, 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 money. Commissioner, you funny. Adam Silver, you funny too. Adam Silver, you hilarious. Adam Silver, you hilarious. By the way, bro, I already see you. You not fooling. Well, you're not fooling me. Adam Silver, you funny. You are a comic. You're hilarious. You and it. I will say that. Yo, Adam Silver, you good, bro. You good, bro. You got one. You got one. Adam Silver, this your number one pick right here, boy. This your number one pick. She moving. She weaving. Weave Nation. I get it. I understand this your pick though. I get it. Y'all might not understand what I'm talking about, but she moving. She dodging and weaving. I get it. Dodging and weaving is crazy. Bobbing and weaving. Same thing. I get it. Adam Silver, I'm on Adam Silver. I promise you. I see that. You not fooling me. I see it. What happens now? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think like what is. People are like, oh, Kathy Engelbert needs to go. Guys, she was put there for a reason. I'm trying to put y'all on this. She was put there for a reason. There's a reason Kathy Engelbert is the commissioner. It's not just as simple as, oh, we remove Kathy Engelbert, we're going to get somebody else. We're going to get somebody else that's for the actual players, that's actually for the W and growth of the W. If the entire goal of the NBA is to keep the W in the black, keep the W in the red, then they're not going to go put somebody in there that's actually going to fight for the changes that we want to see in the league. So everyone keeps asking, we want Kathy Engelbert out of the position to put in what, another Kathy Engelbert 2.0? Who has say so over the W? The NBA. Who has governance over the W? The NBA. Who negotiates the W's deals? The NBA. Replacing I'm not sure what the path forward is. I don't know, but responding same day, going on freaking Jay-Z Nas beef right now in the W is crazy from player to front office. But I don't know what happens. Especially because I feel like again they're gonna try to use Fee as a scapegoat. They're probably going to lock out the 2026 WNBA season, use Fee as a scapegoat. Kathy Engelbert's going to keep her position, but she's probably going to try to do some things where she can start turning the tide. I don't know what happens, but I do know I'm not I got some. I got some. Getting rid of Kathy Engelbert at this point and getting a replacement that would only be signed off by whom? The NBA. It would be like the Liberty. It would be like the Liberty replacing Coach Brandello with Coach Quinn. All right. I don't. Okay. Listen, I like Coach Quinn. All right, but y'all have some similarities. I do like Coach Quinn though. Coach Quinn's cool. She cool. You know what I'm saying? We like Coach Quinn. I'm not saying we don't like, we love Coach Quinn. I love Coach Quinn. I hate weed. But they share similarities in the fact that they don't really know who on their team. They don't really know how to utilize their team. You see what I'm saying? You would be replacing the same thing with relatively the same thing. Removing Kathy Engelbert would probably be like that. We're just going to end up replacing replacing the whole thing with the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Matt 4000 in chat. Shouts out to Matt. It's crazy. Kathy felt comfortable saying some of these statements to Fee on record. Kathy really thought the players liked her like that. Actually, I think Kathy has no clue about what the players like and what the players want. But this also, I could make this racial. I could make this racial, by the way. But if you're not black, I don't know if you'd understand it. Maybe if you're colored, maybe you might understand certain other things. But if you're not black, you're not going to understand. Sometimes sometimes a demographic of people will say certain things to you where it's just like, oh, you live in a bubble. I don't think it's any different here. It's like, yeah, you live in a bubble. It's like, what? Oh, good example. Remember when Sky walked in, was still with the Phoenix Mercury, I believe, and she was meeting with the head coach for the first time. What was her name? Nangard, Vanessa. Damn, why am I forgetting this on stream? I think her first name was it was the old Phoenix Mercury coach with the. Let me try not to get canceled, but with the shortcut, with the short hair, Vanessa Nygaard. Remember her? And Sky said the first thing she said when she walked in or met with her was like, she was just like, oh, happy Black History Month or something like that. Yeah, sometimes people be, like I said, sometimes a certain demographic just doesn't understand, what they're saying to them, what they're saying to us. And Fee half white too. That's the crazy thing. Yo, Fee Blackside came out with all of this, boy. She dropping names, dropping bombs like Nas, bro. I swear, that's Fee. Yep, that's us. That's the Fee I know. That's the Fee I recognize. That's the Fee that, what I'm saying. Yeah. It's not that she felt comfortable. It's just that she doesn't even understand what she's saying, which is why Fee called her tone deaf. It was probably the most accurate thing Fee could have called her. She's super tone deaf, but I'm trying to explain to y'all why she's tone deaf. Why? Because you can't just take certain CEOs and put them in sports like that. Same way how you probably couldn't take a sports CEO and put him or her in front of put him or her in the lead of a science department or a science company. Certain things aren't going to translate. Yeah, you probably do have some leadership skills that might help you get acclimated, but certain things aren't going to translate because you don't know what the hell you're looking at. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't even know what you're saying. You don't know how what you're saying might be deemed offensive in this culture compared to this culture. You see? Matt 4000. You are 100% right about Reese's role in Cece's popularity. Also, Cece did start trending online when she taunted Raven Johnson, leaving her completely open at 3 point line. That is actually, that's a really good, yeah, that is facts. That was when they played SC to get into the finals. Absolutely. That was 100%. Yeah, Dawn getting out coached that year pissed me off. That actually did. That's a really good point, Matt. Shouts out to you. Great comment. I forgot about that. Where yeah, they were leaving Raven Johnson smack open. I I do remember just being pissed at Dawn Staley for that game because I was just like, Dawn, you like, there's no way you didn't game plan for this, bro. There's no way. Charlotte says, "Who's your favorite Mystic?" I think you know the answer to that. I think you know the answer to that. I don't know. It's hard. I don't want to choose one because I don't want to be like the fan that puts one over the other. But yeah, I always go for the high IQ player, bro. I'll always go for the high IQ player. My favorite Mystic is Steph Dolson. We love rap music. Favorite Mystic is Steph Dolson. Oh, tell me why. Speaking of the Mystics, tell me why they were lighting Lucy Olson. Some people were lighting Lucy Olson up because they saw that she follows Turning Point USA, and I guess Turning Point I'm guessing because I actually don't know, but I'm guessing Turning Point USA is a far right group or organization or something like that, and they saw she was also following like Charlie Kirk or something like that, and I think they were like, "Yo, send her to Indy." I was just like, "Yo." Yeah, I think I'll be real. I want to leave everything about Kathy Engelbert fee at this point right here because, like I told y'all, I'm really not sure where stuff goes from here. I just know what the next steps are going to be. I know that if I had $1 million, I'd put $1 million on CBA negotiations not being completed by Halloween. I'd put $1 million on that if I had it like that. I'd put some money on Kathy Engelbert not being removed. I don't think she's going to. I don't know if she steps down, but I do know if she stepped down. If she does step down, no one should celebrate that because you're not getting anything differently. You see what I'm saying? I did not mean to go at Coach Quinn like that. I kind of, even though I was making a joke, and I think I made a pretty good comparison too, but pretty good analogy. I did not mean to go at Coach Quinn like that. Coach Quinn, you're loved over here, Coach Quinn, in more ways than one. I just want to put that out there because I kind of feel bad. I like Coach Quinn. I really do. And I really think Skylar cost that woman her job, low key. All because Skylar, bro, Sky had five options out of that beautiful play Coach drew up, and she effed it, and she completely effed. Gosh, it wasn't even Coach Quinn fault either, bro. Coach Quinn, I'm sorry. If no offense, absolutely no offense to that. I don't want it to seem like I'm not standing on business, but Coach Quinn is Coach Quinn. Coach Quinn, man. It's not bad, brother. Coach Quinn, how you doing, Miss Johnson? Charlotte, Charlotte says Steph my fave too. I like Sony. Sony's my favorite. I love Kiki. Actually, if I could work with a player, I want to work with Kiki Ariafen, but Sony's my favorite. I love Sony's game. I've actually been following actually no, same time. Cause I was following Kiki at Stanford. Cause remember what that viral video of Kiki dunking? Followed her after that. Saw she went to Stanford, watched her with Cam Brink. And then Sony, when I started paying attention to Notre Dame with Hannah, that's when I started following Sony more. So I've been following Sony for college. Like I told you guys on this channel before too. It's crazy how I started following Hannah. I started following Maddie first, and then Hannah, and I saw Hannah. Oh, ND kind of has a good team. Then I started watching. As I started watching, I started liking Sony's game, a little silent killer. And I feel like if Coach Ivy utilized Sony a little bit more, it would have been, you know what I'm saying? But again, I don't know what's with these coaches just not understanding what players they have on their team and why they're not utilizing them correctly, you know? Oh, I was joking about Steph Shar. I'm sorry. It's a bad joke. Sony's my favorite. Steph, I don't outside of my young guns, I don't really care. Yeah, I was kind of joking about that. Hold on. Let me check stream. All right. Stream's still solid. I'll probably stream for like 5 more minutes. There was something else I wanted. Ah, oh, damn. Someone just made me aware of something else. Oh, Matt, you left another comment. But Matt, you prompted me on something else. I'm trying to fuck. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Damn, what was it? We're talking about Dawn. We're talking about college, and I wanted to tell y'all something about. I wanted to tell y'all something about college. Oh, or maybe I was just wrapping this up. I don't know. Yeah, it was the Coach Quinn. It was the Coach Quinn thing that threw me off. Coach Quinn, Miss Johnson, Coach, how you doing, Miss Johnson? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, no one takes offense to that. We love Coach Quinn. We love Coach Quinn. Hey, coach me up. Coach me up. No, I was talking about how I don't know what the next steps are in terms of this situation. I'm hoping that it's not all for nothing because I just don't see them again, the removal of Kathy Engelbert, I don't know if it's going to make any difference. You see what I'm saying? So what happens now? Because now you're in a stalemate. What happens now? What happens now? By the way, guys, on the channel, since I do have a couple of y'all here on the channel, I do have a video called WNBA refs are not trained properly. Scroll down. I don't have too many videos regarding women's basketball, but I have that video as well. And even in some of my film breakdowns, I have a whole playlist for that, WNBA film breakdowns. I call out certain refs and I show you, I think it was on a Sabrina video, Sabrina versus the Aces. And I showed you guys how I showed you guys how the refs aren't even paying attention to the stuff that they're assigned to pay attention to. Because you know refs stand in zones, right? The ref stands in zones. They pay attention to certain zones. Certain refs aren't even paying attention to that. They're sleep. Okay. Yeah, I just don't know where this goes from here. All I know is it's most likely going to be a stalemate. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, and it might die down because I don't know what changes come from this, which is the sucky part. I don't know what changes come from this. I truly don't, guys. I really don't. The only thing I'm hoping for is one, this referee situation gets addressed, and I saw Mark Cuban say something about that as well, that the refs are trained in the G League, and if they're not trained properly in the G League, the same bad refs that aren't trained properly in the G League will be the ones in NBA and WNBA games. Which I thought that was crazy, but that was Mark Cuban saying that, you know. I just does change come from this? I don't know. Does the right change come from this? I really don't know. I don't know where we go from here. Let me read the comments and then I'll be out of here because we are streaming. What are we streaming for? Still 46 minutes. All right, not bad. I tried to keep it under an hour. Okay, not bad. Let me read these comments and then I'm out. Matt 4000 says, not gonna lie, Kathy saying players should be on their knees thanking her for the CBA agreement, for the media rights deal, not the CBA agreement, for the media rights deal was crazy. That's a pretty tone deaf comment when you're a white woman talk about majority black players. And also on top of that, that media deal, not even nice. That media deal wasn't even tough. 3% of the deal. Remember, NBA and WNBA negotiated, and you were able to get 3% of that. What you want props for? If you got 10% of that, maybe I'd give you props. You ain't even get 5%. You got 3% of that. You know, I said this earlier in the stream. You know how much of the percentage of the media deal, the previous media deal that WNBA had was 1%. They had 1% of that of their previous media deal. And now you have 3. what what thugger say? Whoop-de-doo. What the? Oh my gosh! If I could insert like a GIF right after Fee said that, bruh, you move from 1 to 3%. Whoop-de-doo. What are you? You're not changing. You're barely changing. Yeah, it's more money. Obviously, it's a bigger contract, but you're not changing much. And we already went over that. That's on the channel too. Yeah, it's like saying on their knees, thanking her for the media rights deal when you didn't really do. You didn't do anything. You're not for the players. Cut you a media deal. That media deal, that's still not a number that changes much. Anyway, Charlotte, Steph, my favorite too. Steph, I think Shakira has a good future too, but it's time for Steph to step back. Yeah, we already know. Mystics, the future is Georgia, Sony, Kiki, Shaq, Shakira. I like that four. I like that four, that nice little young core four. Hey, we could do something with that. Sony, Kiki, Shaq, Georgia, we could do something with that. I like the pieces around there. And if we add tonight Lotson, boy, I'm there every game. Anyway, that's gonna do it, guys, for this stream. Try to keep it down to to about an hour. I think we might have been stepped over that. Anyway, camera is about to die. Anyway, I appreciate you all for checking out this live stream, chopping it up with me, engaging with me. Drop likes, leave comments. Let me know what you think. Even post live stream, just let me know what you think. I still respond to all the comments that I can. All right. Until next time, enjoy the game. Game 5 is tonight. Indiana Fever versus the Aces. Let's go Aces. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. But until next time, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Stay safe, stay blessed. Take care. Peace.